Today we're going to talk about something that I wish someone would have told me way earlier in my watercolor journey. You know that feeling when you've picked up a palette and has the most beautiful colors and you're so excited, so inspired. You start to paint with them and things just feel off, dull, flat. But the problem is you can't figure out why. Well, today I'm going to help you figure out why. And today's video is the answer to the question I get asked most often. What the heck is value? Why does it matter so much? Value is how light or dark something is. That's it, nothing fancy. It has nothing to do with which color you're using. A warm red, a cool blue can literally have the exact same value. Think of it like a grayscale photo, a black and white photo, if you will. If you took that black and white photo of your painting, what would you see? You'd see the lights, the darks, and something in between, but it would all be completely stripped of color. Now, I have this fun little demo thing that I've come up with, and I'm going to just pick a color, any color. Isn't this cool? This is pretty nifty. And I'm going to mess around with the light angle, and let's watch what happens to the sphere, the box, and the cylinder, right? They all stay completely three-dimensional. Now, I'm going to hit the grayscale value only button. Notice how the forms look identical. Color is gone, but the value's doing all the work. You can still understand the three-dimensional structure, even though the color is gone, because color really is just the decoration. All right, let's talk about the top 4 mistakes that we all make when thinking about color and value. How does it all go wrong? And don't lose hope, because these are easy fixes. That's right. Get ready for the aha moments. Mistake number 1, painting what you think a color should be instead of what you see. This is a really big one. And honestly, it gets almost every beginner. And it still gets me sometimes. You're painting a red apple and you know the apple is red. So you paint it a nice medium red, pretty much all the way around. And you might get some lights and darks, a little shift here and there just because it's watercolor and things, move and settle. But here's what's actually happening on that apple if you're really looking. The side where the light is closest might almost look orange or pinkish or have a little bit of white in it. The side that's hidden from the light, the shadow side, might look so dark that it's practically brown or even purple. The apple is red, absolutely, but the value range across the surface is vast. When you paint everything the same middle red because it's a red apple, you'll lose all that light and shadow. You'll lose your depth. The apple goes flat and it stops looking like a sphere and it starts looking like a circle. Painting every part of an object the same value because you know its color is an easy mistake to make. And friends, don't worry. We're going to get into how to fix this, how to see it differently. Mistake number 2, all your values end up in the middle. This one's super sneaky. You might actually be varying your values. You have lighter areas, you have darker areas. You can see in my flat apple, I have lighter areas. I have darker areas, but everything is still kind of hovering around the mid-range value. Nothing's really, really light and nothing's really, really dark. The result is a painting that looks safe and a little dull. It doesn't have that punch, that drama. And friends, I hear from you every day in the comments. I feel like my paintings are flat. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. It just doesn't have that oomph. And I paraphrase, this is why. The fix? Push your darks darker and pull your lights lighter than feels comfortable or necessary. Yeah. So, what watercolor techniques? Think about it this way. Your apple's red, so if you want to push your darks darker, you can add more paint to the surface of the paper, less water, so your finish will be less see-through and therefore more intense and could be perceived as darker. You could also add purples, a little bit of green, which is opposite on the color wheel, like I did here. And then lifting is a wonderful technique to just pull some paint back off the page with a clean, damp brush to make it lighter. And if you're wondering about lifting techniques and wondering more about color theory, because I mentioned that a little bit here, I'm going to leave 2 links in the description below, videos that you might want to watch after this one. Mistake number 3 that ties closely to number 1, confusing a color change for a value change. This trips people up a lot when they first start mixing color or when they first work from a very large convenience color palette that has all of these options pre-done for them. You switch to a different color and assume that's creating a value shift. But if that new color has the same lightness or darkness as the one before, you haven't actually changed the value. You've just changed the color. So you can't have a painting with lots of different colors that all sit at the same value and wonder why it still looks flat. The variety of color doesn't rescue you. Value still has to be front and center. And I know, friends, it doesn't feel as fun, but trust me, once you figure out this value thing, it becomes more automatic. It's hard to unsee, and you will have elevated all of your work and you can go back to really enjoying color again. Now, while I've been talking here, I've been painting a few different colors on the paper and they all have the same value. But notice some of the colors, especially the green and I think the blue, even though those two colors have the same value as the rest, your eye almost perceives them as a little bit darker. Dark enough that you might think it is enough to express a darker value in your painting, but the reality is they don't. I've been quietly working on this for a few months, and it's basically an envelope full of all the awesomeness that snail mail has to offer. Printed goodness, art prints that feel like opening something thoughtful instead of scrolling past it. Postcards in Watercolor Land is perfect if you love beautiful paper, texture, if you want tactile encouragement without the overwhelm in your art practice. And if you miss the magic of mail that isn't a bill or an ad. Every month, you'll get a 4x6 art print. You'll also every month get a pen pal style letter with musings, updates, what's inspiring me, and even some creative prompts or challenges. You'll always receive a decorated envelope, and that includes domestic postage or international, depending on which you choose, and then 2 to 3 additional stationery elements. And a bonus, every single paper that we use is meant to be repurposed in your journals or your sketchbooks. So head to the link in description, sign up, and as long as you sign up by the 15th of the month, you'll still receive that month's mailing. And mistake number 4, ignoring the value relationships between objects in the same scene. All right, so this trouble shows up more in full compositions like the one I have here. You've got your focal point, maybe a flower. In this case, I have berries and leaves. And you've got a background. This painting's unfinished. I've got some background going here. But you'll notice in my painting, the value shift is minimal. And when you step back, squint a little bit, everything kind of looks like the same light and darkness. There's no real wow factor. There's not a big contrast moment that is giving this painting a lot of depth. Now, if you disagree with me, go ahead and get in comments and tell me. Value contrast is what creates separation, is what creates depth. It's what makes your eye know this is the thing that's in front of that thing. It's like a hierarchy, right? Color contrast alone just doesn't do the same job. Red and green are opposite on the color wheel. And naturally, when you put them next to one another, they kind of have a cool, like, zingy relationship. They pop a little, but it's not enough. We have to add value contrast to the mix. And you've noticed here, hopefully, that I've been doing just that. I've been paying attention to where a berry runs into a leaf or where one leaf goes behind another, and I've been adding that wow factor contrast. And look at the difference. So how do we move forward? Well, practice is key, of course. Use all of the suggestions that I have mentioned, like looking at your work as a black and white photo, mid-painting. Don't wait until the end. Don't wait until you're frustrated. I want you to work on some mixes of color with your most favorite palette, paying attention to what is truly the lightest value mixes you could make and the darkest value. Thinking back to my apple where I added a lot of purple to the red to make the shadow side of the apple really obvious and dark. And this is going to change things for you, friends. And yeah, if you want to learn more about how to control values, how to create that value contrast, I want you to watch this video on the left next. Happy painting.